Okay, usually family they just make plans on spot
Family
and
on
then
the
you're
spot.
done. You have to
That's very common.
compromise.
It happens in our household
It's
all the
like
time.
emergency case you have to attend.
It is, and it's happened to me multiple times. Now, you know, I play cricket. I'm not just the player. I'm the one who's organizing the matches. When you are in trouble for the next 3 days, how many hours of those 3 days will your friends be with you, and how many hours of those 3 days will your family be with you? We all have 50 doctors, but why would the patient say that this is the good doctor? He's not saying because this is the one
He knows
because
a lot of.
he knows the most books. For sure, I'm not discussing all medicine with the patient.
The sooner you get out of the dirt, it's better. I mean, it's good for you to get cleaner more.
Absolutely.
In future. But if you don't see the change happening,
Be the
change
change.
maker.
Be the change. Absolutely. You couldn't have put it better. And I'll give something for our audience to check as well.
Okay, so to begin with, Dr. Daniyal, we can call you doctor by
Just
now.
call
right?
me Daniel. That's fine.
That's better. But how was your doctorate studies and how can you run through the journey? Because I want to know how actually doctors, go through student life and all.
I see.
And then I see one person who is known to be doctor and studies doctorate and this and that, but also plays cricket. I'll see him here and there. This is you're well known for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just tell me brief about that.
Directly put me on the spot then.
Yeah, on the spot for sure. The doctors, I mean, if you see an emergency case, you're on spot anyways.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
No, Alhamdulillah. So I started my medical school in 2018. Before that, I did my high school from Saeed, where I live. Let me reverse a bit more and say my name is Daniyal. Originally, I'm from Pakistan. And thank you very much, first of all, for having me. I've seen some of your beefy podcasts, and sometimes the discussions can get beefy, as you've named it. So I did my high school from there, from my city where I live in Saeed. And then after that, I did my medical school here in Qatar University. And alhamdulillah, it was a 6-year journey. And I must say it was a very memorable journey.
And I remember you used to stay in domes and study.
Exactly, yeah. So because we were so far away from the university, we were one of the lucky people who had the opportunity, because it was not available to all the students.
Achha, what's the criteria?
So the criteria is you must be at least like 50 kilometers outside of university. So by that criteria is usually people in Al-Wakaram, Saeed, or the other side, Dukhan, Al-Khor, who come into the criteria. So we were lucky in that we lived in our country, and yet we were able to enjoy the hostel life. So
tell me, did it help you in your student life, staying away from your house and studying?
Oh, I think definitely it does. Just purely because, in university, you have so much more than studying that's going on. And I always tell this to all my friends, especially those who are in university, that if you were to go through all your few years of university, and the only thing you got from there is your degree, then that is your years that is wasted in university.
Okay, so you're telling just the degree and the education is not what you're there for.
I'm saying that means you've wasted your years in university. If the only thing you did was just attend your classes, get your grades, and you came out with a degree. This is my understanding, and I try to tell this to you because university is a unique place where you get so much opportunities, be it in the form of clubs, in the form of amazing people you meet, in the form of opportunities that you have through various different activities, be it sports, be it academics, be it discussion, be it debates, be it hosting events, that there is no reason for you not to be involved in those activities.
Correct. Then what do you tell to those people? I'll ask you also personally, why did you end up there? But many people, they refrain from going into this stuff. I don't understand that. They are like, they want something party or fun, or they'll just stay out of it. Why do you think that happens?
Well, I think it could be two ways. Number one reason could be, and this was me in high school as well, that I was quite hesitant to go into clubs. And this one of the reasons was that I had heard from my friends that so and so is a waste of time, or going into so and so will not benefit you, or they might give me negative feedback. And I used to take that feedback and I would just assume that is the truth. And believe me, when I
used to just go with the flow with your friends.
Just go with the flow, that's it. But when I did go into those clubs, in reality, I found it to be completely different. And I'm not saying the first person's views are incorrect. I'm just saying everyone has a different taste, or everyone gets a different experience out of an event. Correct. So that was one reason. The second reason, sometimes people are just shy. And that's absolutely right as well. Some people are not so forthcoming, they don't want to be in the spotlight. But at the same time, I think university is the best place for you to be out of your comfort zone and learn those skills outside of your academia that you might not learn otherwise.
Yep, I have talked this in different podcasts as well. That when I was in high school, I was like just a normal kid, didn't know much, used to sleep a lot and didn't talk much. But once I came to college, people started telling me, Abdurrahman, you changed. I was like, I never changed. I was just quite in my my high school days. When I came to university, I got opportunities. I just grabbed them
Exactly.
and enjoyed them.
That's
Tried to
it.
host events and this and that. So when you hosted events and when you get to do a lot of project which you're not getting actually paid for or anything, what were the motives you would sign up for all that stuff?
Well, number one, and you've known me for quite some time now. I'm an extroverted kind of person. I don't like to stay home at all,
Yep.
and that's one thing.
Same here.
And the other thing is, I always enjoy new experiences, and I love to meet new people.
Okay.
So for me, those were exactly what the motive. Okay, there's something new happening here. There's some new people I don't know. Okay, let's see what this is going on. It's a new project, new activity going on. What can I
There's
contribute
something
to
new.
it?
I might get to
So,
learn something.
exactly. And then I would see what's the purpose or the outcome of those events. For example, in my college and universities, I was quite heavily involved in my student representative boards. It's because the outcome there was that I could try to make a change or I could try to be the voice of my class, for example. So I used to see if there are outcomes that I find beneficial and ways where I think I can enhance my skills, be it communication. Because remember, every time you step into any kind of extracurricular activities, for sure you will be learning skills, either actively or passively. Sometimes you won't even know. Maybe it might be your confidence, it might be your communication skills, those things that you will learn by just being in that environment.
How to approach people, how to break the ice with new people. This is what all you learn if you are trying to interact with people and spend some time. And if you don't have the zeal or the thrill to go for it, then you lose that in life. And after I heard this, after university days, it is usually hard to make friends if
That's true.
you just not get yourself out there, out of the comfort zone which we talk about usually. Then there's no point of like exactly, like no point of going to the university. You just got a degree, paid a
Degree.
hefty amount of money. What else did you get that? Yep. But talking about sports and all, how do you manage to there's just not sports, everyone knows there's sports, there is events, there is your
Exactly.
studies. How
Yeah.
do you manage all that stuff?
So number one, I think always that I've kept it that all of these things that I'm doing is out of passion and out of genuine interest. And I think that is the most important thing, that you need to find out what you are passionate about, what you genuinely like, and then pursue that. Many times I see myself in universities that people try to do some things just to put on a CV. And that's not wrong. Sometimes you need to go to find new experiences because that's how you might know that I like this. But when you do find something that you like, go and pursue it. And if you don't find other people's doing it, then be the one to start doing it. For example, as you mentioned, I love playing cricket. Now, given my schedule nowadays, it's very difficult. So I've fixed a time, and it's a very unique time. Now, usually, most of my Friday mornings after Fajr is the only day off usually I get per week. But it's the day I have the least amount of sleep because I'm outside playing my sports. Now, some people might say that that's crazy, that yes, one day you might go to sleep, but you can catch up on some sleep that you've lost throughout the whole week of working. But I say that's
But does that work?
what.
Let's not talk medically or technically, but yeah, does that catching up?
No, no, it doesn't.
It
We are
doesn't
not.
work,
No,
right?
no, we are not a hibernating species where we can sleep for
So
4 months.
exactly.
It doesn't work like
But
that.
still,
But
we
still, and some
purposely do
people
it.
say just to rest it, but I don't because it's something I'm passionate about. So I take the time out.
Okay, let me add here. It does help you. I have realized it in 48 hours. If you sleep one day 11 or 10 hours and the other day 3 or 4 hours because you have slept better the previous night, it helps you.
Within
But
a
it
day,
doesn't
yeah.
like within a day or two, it helps. Not the whole
No,
week of.
definitely. You're absolutely right on that. So,
So you used to coordinate with that time small slot,
so
even
this
less
is
sleep.
exactly because remember, you keep in mind most of us who are living with our families here, it's important you give time to your family as well,
Exactly.
be it your parents, your siblings, because you're working 5 days a week or you're studying 5 days a week and you're quite busy there from morning 8 to evening. It's like a proper job, even more than that, because you're at home doing your projects and these things, researches.
Yes.
So you're busy there. So Friday is a day, obviously, you want to spend some time doing something you enjoy, but at the same time, you don't want to neglect your family. Sometimes they might be making their plans out and they want you to be on board. So you want to take time out. So you always try to see what are the timings.
This phrases which you're telling, I think you have suffered with family time and friends time. Now you have realized the importance of family time, right?
It is, and
Initially, as a youth and as a kid, what happens is, and as a young adult as well, in your early 20s specifically, you don't care about your family. You're like, they will stay. But then lately you realize the importance that father is seeing a kind of peer in you, a friend in you, and your mother is also looking up to you. But if you are busy wasting time with other friends and giving priority to other stuff, then you will very lately realize that you have lost the precious time where your parents could have made a better bond with you.
Definitely, for sure.
So family
And
time is also important to telling.
very important, and you need to take time out. And I
Okay,
think just
what could be the? I would like to kind of have a heated discussion here. Okay, why do you think family ke saath, I just told the emotional reasons for it, but what logically happens is ke, bro, my friends are available right now. Even his family let him go out, but why are you guys not letting me go around, and you're involving me in every plan? What would you tell to them?
so obviously, see, there must be a balance. I'm not
Okay.
saying that you completely neglect your friends and always be with your family. At the same time, I'm not saying you completely neglect your family, be with your friends. So there must be a nice balance.
Okay, balance
now,
has to be created.
balance has to be there. Now it is up to you to make sure you create that balance. And how you do that is make sure you're scheduling. Okay, ask your family. Sometimes you would know there's a plan coming up. So tell your friends that I'm busy, I have to be there.
Okay, usually family they just make plans on
Family
spot and
on
then
the
you're
spot.
done. You have to
That's very
compromise.
common. It happens in our household all
It's like
the time.
emergency case. You have to attend.
It is, and it's happened to me multiple times. Now, you know, I play cricket. I'm not just the player. I'm the one who's organizing the matches. I'm the one who's the captain as well. So for me to be there is the most important. But many times in the last minute, I've cancelled that I can't come. I've arranged some other plan, go with the family because I know there's a balance that needs to be created. So
And
you need to
sometimes
do
you
that.
have to maybe even tell your parents like,
Sometimes you can
sorry,
say, you can
it's
say
already
that.
pre-planned. I can't skip
Exactly.
this.
But here I like to add that, especially from Islamic perspective, if we talk about there,
Correct.
if you know what Islam and Quran and the Prophet's hadith tells you about the importance of parents, believe me, you don't need any other reason for wanting to spend time with your family.
This is so
And-
cold. People
and-
should realize
Exactly.
this.
And
So continuing, as you were talking about the importance of parents and how you don't need a reason to get involved with your parents, I don't think these were your thoughts initially, like when you were in your teens. I mean, older teens and young adult. But how did you change and transform? Like we understand this thing because we see that our parents do a lot of stuff. They spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of sweat and blood into making us grow up and this and that. But initially, when I think as a doctor as well, you have studied the development of prefrontal cortex plays a pivotal role. I read this.
you're not
I
wrong.
just read this, but once I experienced this very recently in few months, I have started realizing that initially I wanted a reason to respect my dad and everything used to take it granted for. But now I don't know what happened that due to few changes in me, I started becoming a bit more sane. I can just say about that myself and started respecting parents out of no reason. Initially that wouldn't happen. And you realize what I'm telling you, right?
You're right.
And many kids, you know, are rebellious with their parents and it's very common now, especially this I will call it an epidemic which came from the Western societies that we are influenced from them because our subcontinent societies and the subcontinent Asian societies, they respect their parents a lot. But that is going down and you know, as a youth, you know how many issues and stories you have been hearing about the disrespect towards parents. And this specifically came from West. So this whole thing, I gave it to you. What would you like to comment on?
So first point that you mentioned that was this initially my thoughts are not. You're absolutely right. Probably they weren't. And I think here is something that both sides of the party needs to understand: the parents and the kids.
Okay. Now we know what we'll talk about the kids part. Now tell me that how are parents wrong? Because they have been following the traditions of being authoritative figure and being very strong and advising and then commanding children.
I like to start off by talking about the kids because I feel the responsibility falls more on them and then the parents comes.
Okay.
So this is the hierarchy of that I feel how should be. That's why I will talk in this order very briefly. So keep in mind that generally talking that age of 14, 15, 16, 17, it is a very dynamic age. There are a lot of things you don't understand what's going on. You know, there's a graph we say that in the hospital that it goes something like this. It's confidence and knowledge or experience. So they say when a doctor starts, us fresh doctors, we are right here on the top. Our confidence is sky high, but our knowledge is and experience
low.
is zero.
Okay.
So they say this is the most dangerous part because the guy thinks he knows everything, but the reality is he knows nothing. And this is a very dangerous part. Why? Because you don't know what you don't know. And this is why it's dangerous. And this is why at the same age, the kids, and I will put myself in there, we don't know at that time exactly what is right and wrong. So sometimes what we think we might be doing is right, or we think what our parents are doing against us is wrong. What we don't realize is number one is only for our own benefit, and number two is it's actually us who are in the wrong.
Okay, sorry to cut you, and
No,
I'm
no,
like
go on.
keeping on cutting you.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope you don't
You can
mind.
continue. Cut me as much
So,
as possible.
so this issue, we understand this after certain age,
Yes,
23, 25.
exactly.
So what is the practical thing the kid should understand at the age of 18, 19? How can they calm themselves? And because it's hard.
It is. I do not disagree with you on that. So I would say two things for that. Number one, how is your relationship with your religion? And you might be anyone. I'm not saying has to be a Muslim. I'm just saying generally, how are you as a person? How is your stance on morality? How do you feel connected to whatever your belief system is? Because the
How
purpose
true
is
are you to your own beliefs?
to your own beliefs. Because one of the things we hear a lot, but especially youth, is I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I want. Who's going to stop me? And this is what we hear at the age of
So
14,
they
15, 16,
ultimately-
17. Because they think that they are, in this ultimate state where no one can see them. They're the king of the universe. That's why they
Correct.
do whatever
Universe,
they want.
actually universe. They think there's no Lord
They
also
know,
at that point.
they think that they are the top of the universe. They think they can do whatever they want there because at that time you don't have the concept of repercussions, because you don't have the concept, because you don't have responsibilities at that time. Your parents are there at the backdrop to support you in case anything goes wrong, but you think you're in the driving seat. So beg your pardon. So one thing I would say at that time always is whatever your belief system is, stay true to it. So for example, if you're Islam, stay true to your religion. If you're a Christian, stay true to that. That is number one. Number two, if one thing that you can keep in your mind, forget everything that you might think your parents might be doing wrong to you or whatnot. If there is one thing you to keep in mind, then that is that there are no two more people in your life who will ever be more sincere to you than your parents. Just keep that in mind every single time there's a conflicting thought that comes to you. Ask yourself, if I, at the age of 15, get a fracture on this road, who will be there sleeping with me by my bedside when I'm in the hospital for the next 2 weeks? If I were to get in an accident, who would be there to come and pick me up? If I were to have something bad happens to me, who would be there at that time who would be taking care of me? Because believe me, at that time, all the friends disappear. It's only the family that's there. So keep this thought in your mind. Because when you have these thoughts in your mind, then automatically when you think there's a conflict coming up, hopefully there will be some thing that will be holding you back from not saying something that might be harmful, or not saying something that will be very mean to your parents. Always, this is one of the advice I give, that always keep in mind that when you are in trouble for the next 3 days, how many hours of those 3 days will your friends be with you? And how many hours of those 3 days will your family be with you? From that, you will know who is the most sincerest people to you. And when you know who is sincere to you, you try to be sincere with those people.
That's a very great point, and we should sink in. And I think that is the reason and result of people not having many experiences, specifically bad experiences, failures, where they could see how their parents are supporting them. But the issue is into the Asian subcontinent. This is very common, not only in India, Pakistan, or Bangladesh, but in Asian societies, that the parents that taunt you for stuff.
That's true.
So the taunt you, and whenever they want to advise you, it comes in the worst possible state as it comes. How do you stay sane and realize that they love me? Also, they are wishing good for me, but in a very bad manner.
You want to make sure I don't go home tonight, huh? You want to make sure that I am sleeping tonight on the road.
No, sir. This is specifically because you have crossed this age and now you realize it. And I think what happens is there is a lot of turbulence after the takeoff
there is.
of your teenagers,
Definitely,
specifically when you're
definitely.
entering your adulthood. And
definitely.
in this turbulence, you also learn, and your parents also learn a lot, and it becomes kya bolte hai, they learn to merge and behave well after some time, and you also learn how mistakes you have done. I think this is what
It's a very good point you mentioned, specifically the word turbulence, because that's how life is initially at the teenager years. So again, as I said, if you remember before, I said there are two coins to this face. One is the kids and one is the parents.
Correct.
So I think from the parent side,
Two
the
faces to
parents,
the coins.
Exactly, there are always two sides to each coin.
Okay.
So the second side here is the parents themselves need to realize as well that Unfortunately, the generation now that we are in is very different from the previous ones. Now, keep in mind that mankind, they took about 300-400 years initially, about thousands of years to go from the Stone Age and then to the next age. And then we had the Industrial Revolution from the 1900s to the 2000s, which took about 100 years for us to come to the technological revolution, which was the internet and that. And then from there, it took about 20 years, we came into the smartphone, where we have mobile phones and that. So what you're realizing is that the generation gap, the speed at which the world is growing,
The rate is
the
changing,
generation, the gap between them is increasing, and the time it takes to go from one generation to another is reducing. So the experiences our parents might have had is not the same that we are going through. Sometimes so much so that nowadays the experiences you have gone through is completely different from what your younger sibling is going through, such that even you and your younger siblings will be at different frequencies and might have trouble understanding each other.
Even just from 4 or 5 years.
Even for 5 years it creates.
it's
Now
a
you
big
see
deal.
the new advent of
The
AI and all of
yes,
that.
yes.
So the point here is, number one, for the parents, and I'm first of all, I'm in no position to lecture the parents or talk about it, because I myself have not been there, not gone through that. So but the only thing I can say as an older sibling, for someone who might have a younger sibling who's not going through that, I'll talk from that perspective, because that's something I can talk. It is very important for you to first of all understand that they're going to a completely different generation with completely different obstacles, completely different set of challenges than you had. Remember, they have information at the tip of their hands. Maybe you have had it, but you and my 10 years ago, we probably didn't have that much understanding of computer and internet, and there wasn't that
You
much
know,
development.
yesterday I was throwing 2 dictionaries in my house because they didn't open it from 3 4
So
years
yes,
because Google is there now.
Google
AI is there.
is there. You don't need to ask. So the first thing is, and this is again as a perspective of a younger sibling, for the younger siblings as an older sibling, make sure you understand what they are going through.
Do you think it's initially possible, or after some experiences you realize as a big brother I have more responsibility than just commanding my siblings?
I think definitely it takes time.
It takes time and
It takes
experience, I
definitely
guess.
time. From my experience, I'll tell you something. How common is it that sometimes your younger sibling comes to you and says, I want this from you, and you say, I will not give it to you. And then your next sibling, he threatens you by saying, I'm going to tell your dad, I'm going to tell my mom. How many times has this happened? Quite a lot of times. And unfortunately, many of our times, what our response is, yeah, go tell. Yeah, ja bata do. Go tell them. And you might say that, or you might say, okay, don't tell. You might say once, then say, okay, man, leave me alone, do whatever you want. And you might say that to him.
Okay.
For you, that might be a small word. Yeah, go away. But for him, what you've just done is, in front of his eyes, you've just reduced the respect of your father in his eyes. Because the reason he threatened you by saying, I'm going to tell my dad, is he held the father at a certain level of respect. And you might have not thought of what he thinks about his father. But when you said that, go and say whatever you want, I don't care.
It showed
in his
him-
eyes, you have basically reduced the aura or the respect that the dad has, the command that he has in his home. And I must say, it is these small things that we don't think about at all that can end up having the biggest impact on
Impact
our
on the
younger
brains.
siblings.
They are like, my brother is not scared of my parents. Why should I?
Why
be
should I be? So this is something that we are always in a fault of. And I've only realized this in the last 3-4 years. And now I actively, whenever they come and threaten me with, I'm going to tell mom and dad, I actively say that,
You have to
even though
act.
I know they will not, my parents will not say anything to me. You know, at this age, they will not come and say to us, why do you do this or not? They know it's probably their mistake. But you need to make sure you keep that command of your parents. That is your role, your responsibility.
To keep the respect
To
going
keep
on.
the respect of the parents. So you need to say, no, I'm sorry. Here you go. Oh, please don't tell my father. Don't tell dad. Yani, don't tell him, please, I'm scared. Show them the respect of your parents at home. This is your responsibility. This is what you can do at home to ensure that the respect that they have. Because when you yourself start saying things that shows them in their mind that a parent doesn't have that command in their home, how can you expect them then to continue their command later on?
Yeah, even to follow you.
That is the responsibility that starts from you.
So I got 5 more topics for my next podcast season with you. Inshallah. But before continuing to that, because this will be ethics part and we can discuss a lot. And this is very, very, very much necessary. Do you realize importance of manners and ethics, right? No one teaches you.
No one teaches. Yes, absolutely.
You spend millions of riyals and dollars. No one's teaching ethics. We'll definitely do a few episodes, inshallah. But before that, talking about the ethics part, where do you think people should learn the ethics from, and why is it important to learn the ethics when I just have to go to the university, get the money, buy the job, and that's it? Why do I need ethics?
First of all, I'll start off by saying I'm not ethics expert,
Yeah.
and neither am I yani, the one who should be giving these advices.
Okay.
But you said number one, why is it important, and number two, where to get it from? You see, at the end of the day, how many people do you have in your class?
15.
15. All 15 will graduate. All 15 will have a degree. From my class, I had 70 people. All 70 of us have the title doctor in front of our names. So what's the thing that different? Are we all robots? Are we all the same? No, we are not. What differentiates us between them, especially in fields where you are meeting a lot of people,
On a daily
where you on a
basis.
daily basis? What differentiates you, especially in our field as a doctor, from a good doctor to a great doctor, is not necessarily knowledge, because all of the things you can find in the books.
Correct.
Now you have AI that helps you as well. So it not necessarily have you, and you have so much support around you in the hospital. You're not alone. There's a whole hospital running with all number of teams. What differentiates now is how you deal with the patient. How are you in terms of your manners with the patient? And that is not just limited to one aspect of your life. That's limited extends to all aspects of your life. Some now and some in the future. Now with your parents, with your colleagues, with your friends. Very soon, those who are listening to us at the age of 20, 25, they're going to be going to the job market. Believe me, you will have. Do you think whenever they put up a job post, they don't have enough people? If they're looking for a computer engineer, they have 25 computer engineers lining up for 2 spots. What is differentiating you and them between them? It is exactly your morality, your ethics, your character, your work balance, your how should we say, your ability to put your best foot forward, your work ethic, as they call it. That is what differentiates between people. Because you might have heard of many times, we all have 50 doctors, but why would the patient say that this is the good doctor? He's not saying, because this is the
He
one,
knows
because
a lot of.
he knows the most books. For sure, I'm not discussing all medicine with the patient. Probably doesn't even know half of the time, sometimes exactly what is the thought process we go through, what are the labs we do. At the end of the day, what matters to him is, were we able to treat him and how did we deal with him? And that is why ethics, sometimes in this life, in this age that you are in right now, and in the future, when you will go to different areas to work in, when let's say you get married in the future, how will you deal with your other in-laws, your wife? That again goes and reflects back on where your
How
ethics
your
and your
morale
character,
was.
how your morale was. So this is the importance. And now you asked, where do you learn it from? I always say that the house is the biggest learning school. And believe me, most of our parents do a very good job of teaching us. It's just that we are very poor learners. We have good teachers at home, we don't focus on them. The second thing, especially for us as youth, and this includes not just the teenagers, but for us as really adults as well, is to try to seek the company of those people who are known to be good in the community. The reason is that you will learn more from their actions than from their words.
Okay, but how about this? Like, I have many well bearded and mutawa kind of friends. Okay, if I go and sit with them, they are very clean people. I don't have fun with them, or it doesn't vibe. I'm giving an example of
Sure,
playing a
sure.
devil's advocate here. But if I go with people who smoke pot and do this and that and uteki beteki galia, like they have bad words on their mouth for everything, I find vibe there. What would you kind of advise? Not me, but yeah,
I
those kind of
understand that,
people.
and it's a wrong question. But again, then you say, you talked about you're finding good vibes. You're finding good vibes there.
Yeah.
I probably will not disagree with you, because that's what the dunya shows us, that this is a good place that is there. But the question then we go back to is, you come out of that environment, you probably spend how many hours a week in that environment? Probably 6, 7, 8. Evaluate yourself. How are you for the next 160 hours of that week? Sit and just evaluate yourself for 1 week.
It's too negative. You don't
How-
think anything productive. Nothing goes.
How
good.
was I with my school colleagues? How was I in my university studies? How was I in my with my parents? How was I with my siblings? Evaluate yourself and see. If you're going in the right path and if you're doing well, fine and good. But 99 out of 100%, you will find yourself that if you hang out with such a crowd, your other aspects of life that you didn't realize will also be negatively impacted. May it be your tongue, may it be your manners, may it be the way you speak and deal with other people, may it even be your own thoughts and how you think about other people.
Exactly.
And these things you might not realize initially.
But yeah, this initially you don't realize, but
don't
after
realize
the
it.
passage of time and accumulation
Exactly.
of that much dirt or whatever in your mind, you realize it. Oh, this happened because of that.
And
Because
this
I would like to give you
Yeah.
an example. I used to watch good amount of Bollywood movies, and then my parents used to tell me, and I was very expert at hiding, and no one would know that I'm watching movies and this because my parents never allowed, because they know how
True.
useless they are. But I used to watch them, and initially they told me this a lot of things that they advised me, and I was like, nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing goes wrong.
Very
Nah,
good.
I'm a very sane person, rational person. But after 4 5 years, I realized, oh, a lot of my thought process comes from those movies and the way the hero acts, the way how women act in that. My thought process has changed, and unfortunately, even I can't go back and change. They don't realize, these people, when they're spending time with the friends, the thought process which set in, even though you know it is wrong now, but just because you have been thinking and programmed in that way, and you were influenced for a long time in that bad crowd, you will not be able to change your future after that.
You
the,
know,
the sooner you get out of the dirt, it's better. I mean, it's good for you to get cleaner more in future.
absolutely. And here is where I will say again that the importance of crowd really matters. Who are your friends?
Yes.
Which is the company you're hanging out with? And here I will add an extra responsibility again, especially to those people who are at the age of 25, 26, 27, who have gone out of this phase
Yes.
and now are aware of what's going on. It's an added responsibility on them to make sure that starting from their own home, from their own younger siblings, that they guide them in the best way and in the best manner possible, that they see them, try to give them a good outlet, a good fun activity.
Be a best friend for your own siblings, man.
Be a best friend for your sibling, exactly. Be the ones who creates activities for them. You mentioned, they're vibing there. What are the fun things that they're finding there? Give them a good outlet. I just came from a place where there's a mother who's been organizing just for the sake of her kids, who organizes who've got a coach, and for her own community, she organizes on a weekly basis every Wednesday an hour of kickboxing and an hour of sports, and then she brings someone to give an half an hour Islamic lecture. Now, is what the mother has done here is that she's seen that these are sports and activities that the kids really love. So what
Not
she's done
only
is
love, I very lately realized it is very important for kids to exert.
physically
If they
enhance
don't
themselves.
do that, they will be fighting with their siblings. If
Exactly.
they don't do that, they do a lot of other stuff.
Stuff. So she's realized this, and what she did was there was nothing around her. So she went and she started this program, and now they have up to 15, 20 kids who come there, who are doing these programs, who are with them. They're doing these activities on a weekly basis, and then she's incorporated some meaningful lectures, some reminders about morality, about ethics, spirituality as them. So you have people out there who are doing it, and when they don't find a crowd, they try to make sure how they can do best for their own family, for their own community, and then they create these programs. And I think the onus lies on us and other people out there who are gone beyond that age to create those programs. If you really care, if you don't care about the next generation, then that's up to you. Okay, then you can continue to live your life. But at the end of the day, then that would, for me, that would be a purposeless life if you just lived just for yourself and not for others.
It's interesting how people talk about climate change, which will affect you 100 years later or maybe 50 years later. But how it is affecting the societies and the common issues, no one talks about it much, and no one wants to learn to solve it, and no one, the basic thing, wants to take the responsibility
Responsibility.
towards them to make it better.
Exactly.
And as you told, the solution is basically very simple. If you don't see the change happening,
Be the
change
change.
maker.
Be the change. Absolutely. You couldn't have put it better. And I'll give something for our audience to check as well. Today, to go home and check something about the Ocean Cleaner Project. Now, the Ocean Cleaner Project is a very interesting project. Started by a Dutch boy. I think he goes by the name of Dan Boyle or something along those lines, names. He was 15 years old when he noticed, when he went scuba diving, that there's a lot of trash and plastics deep down in the ocean when he was scuba diving. So he wanted to know just what is the extent of this trash that we've thrown in our rivers and polluted our rivers. So he went to multiple different places and he realized that this is a global problem, especially within his own area where he was from the Netherlands. He saw that almost all of our rivers are polluted in this way. So what he did was he came up with a plan, something known as the Ocean Cleaner Project, at the age of 18. Now he's 26. And that project that he started at the age of 18 is the single biggest ocean cleaner project that is going globally. And it wasn't started by some multi-billionaire mega empire or some big ruler. No, it was started by an 18-year-old boy because he saw there's a change needed to be made and no one was doing it. So he became that change. So the question is, why not us? When we see something that's not right and solution needs to be made, either if there's a solution, you go and find it. Or if there's not, then be the change, be the solution. Alhamdulillah, where we live here in Qatar, there is no lack of opportunities for you.
No. Many people cry there's nothing to do in Qatar.
This is then again as per them, then what do you want to do? There, if you go start just to looking out, like I'm telling you, I've been playing cricket all now every Friday morning. We are involved in multiple leagues. There are multiple leagues. The environment of cricket here in Qatar is very hidden, but it's unbelievable. If you want to see how much cricket is prevalent, I tell you on a Friday morning after Fajr, take your car or just roam around Doha.
Yeah, yeah, I see.
Just roam around Doha.
Every place,
Every minimal place you find where there is a bit of sand and no
every
buildings, there's a
half
match.
kilometer score, I find
There's a pitch and
two
there's a
teams
two
playing.
playing there.
Yeah.
There must have been a start, right? There was someone 50 years ago who said that, we want to play cricket, let's build a pitch and let's
But
play.
it doesn't get over nationals. Right? I mean, it has its own.
It has exactly.
Yeah, but okay, it's not about national sport or this and that. Just go out, enjoy.
Enjoy
have a physical exercise.
Physical exercise is a good way to exert yourself. Someone 50 years ago might have thought that, we want to play cricket. Okay, let's get some bat, let's get some players together. And what started probably from 2 teams 50 years ago, now you got over, I must say, at least 5 to 10,000 people who are playing cricket at any time on a Friday morning, with more than 100 teams all over Qatar registered on a specific app. And if I show you how they've calculated their records, you would think like we're in an international level where people have their records for the past 10 years in just Qatar. And this is, I'm telling you, people who are playing on the roads. There's nothing professional, from their own money, just out of curiosity, just out of their own passion. So when there is a will, there is a way.
I would like to end on that topic, and I would call it an introductory podcast to our Dr. Ahmed Daniyal. And inshallah, we'll definitely talk on a lot of stuff.
Inshallah.
Sure, inshallah, because I see you have got a lot of stuff. I mean, of course, after a lot of experience of your own youth and this and that, and not only youth experience, but also experience in many other fields.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to explore more ideas from you, inshallah.
Definitely. And I think I'll just end on exactly the same place where you started, where you mentioned about the development prefrontal cortex.
Okay, doctor.
It is said that, especially for males, the true age of maturity, sometimes it takes up to 25 years at the age of 25 for the prefrontal cortex to completely mature. So you are maturing until the age of 25, 26, 27, some people even up to the age of 30. Okay. So don't think that once you've turned 18, that's it, you've reached the peak. No, I just say that's the start of maturity. You just start to develop at that time. So always keep that in mind, that
but at 18 you have won the world. I mean, the thoughts people get.
Yeah.
Even we used
as
to
I said, remember the curve.
Yeah.
You are a dangerous doctor at that time.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And this is the most scary part, because then you become an ignorant person who thinks he knows everything but doesn't realize he doesn't know anything.
But ends up in the wrong place.
So we need to just, may Allah let's hope that we stay away from that phase.
Yep, inshallah.
Yeah.
I would like to end here and then see you soon, inshallah.
Inshallah.
It
Thank
was
you
a
very
great
much for having me.
discussion.
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
गुड हो गया सही था ठीक था
सर बेहतरीन था मजा आएगा और क्या बोल रहा था मैं सर सच्ची में बहुत बात करनी पड़ेगी फ्यूचर में आपके पास टाइम रहेगा शायद ना बनाना पड़ेगा टाइम
निकाल लेंगे टाइम जैसे कहना हर काम के लिए निकाल लेते हैं निकाल लेंगे
एंड देन फिर मैं आपको बोलता हूँ उस हिसाब से ना आप कोजी कास्ट के वास्ते भी आपके पास कंटेंट आप इस्लामिकली ऑलरेडी बहुत